Today, we're going to follow a wild chain reaction, a sort of AI domino effect, and it all starts with a single number you might see on a stock ticker, but it ends somewhere you'd never expect: deep space.
It all begins right here, $3.3 trillion. For a moment there in mid-2024, that was the market value of just one company, NVIDIA. Now, to give you a sense of scale, that's bigger than the entire economy of the United Kingdom, or France, or India. It's a staggering amount of money.
But this is way more than just a headline for investors. A number this big is like a huge jolt of energy pumped into the global system. It's that first domino tipping over, and it's setting off a chain reaction with very real, very physical consequences. So let's trace exactly where it leads.
Okay, so whenever we see valuations go completely vertical like this, one question always pops up, right? Are we just watching history repeat itself? Is this just another dot-com bubble getting ready to burst? Well, if you look at the data, it tells a pretty interesting story. You see that forward PE ratio? It's a way to measure how expensive stocks are. And today's AI leaders are actually less pricey than the dot-com companies were at their peak. But here's the real kicker: profitability. Back then, most dot-coms were just burning through cash. Today, the giants of the AI world are already insanely profitable. And that's really the key difference. The dot-com era, it was built on pure hype, right? A bet on a future that hadn't been built yet. But the AI boom? It's being built by these established, cash-rich giants on infrastructure that's already here. It's not some bet on the future, it's a tool that's being put to work right now.
But that doesn't mean everyone's breathing easy. Even with all those profits, the pros, the people who actually manage the world's money, they're getting pretty nervous. A recent survey of global fund managers showed that, yep, a majority of them think we are absolutely in a bubble. So whether it's a bubble or not, that $3 trillion number we started with isn't just an idea floating around in a spreadsheet. It is having a massive and growing physical impact on our actual planet. And that is the next domino to fall. This right here, this is what AI actually looks like. Every single time you ask a chatbot a question or a company trains a new model, it's happening inside one of these enormous data centers. These are the engines of AI, and they are hungry. They consume unbelievable amounts of power and resources. 78%. Just think about that. That's how many companies around the world are already using AI in some way. And that widespread use is creating this absolutely insatiable demand for more computing power, which, you guessed it, means more and bigger data centers. And to build and run these things, you need the absolute basics of the industrial world. We're talking about huge amounts of electricity, tons of fresh water for cooling, and critical raw materials like copper to connect everything. The digital world is making some serious demands on the physical one.
Which leads us to the next domino. Because when certain resources become this important and this hard to get, a new kind of global competition is pretty much inevitable.
Because look, when a technology gets this powerful and this resource hungry, nations don't just want to be a part of it, they want to control it.
This intense competition has kicked off a global race for something called sovereign AI. The goal here is basically technological independence. Each nation wants to control its own AI destiny, from its data to its hardware, without having to rely on any of its rivals.
But here's the catch. The AI supply chain is one of the most ridiculously complex things humans have ever built. So true 100% sovereignty? It's basically a fantasy. You've got the US designing the chips, a single company in Europe building the machines that make the chips, and Taiwan actually fabricating them. No single country can control the whole thing. It's impossible.
So, the goalposts are shifting. Since total control is off the table, nations are now shooting for something called strategic autonomy. It's a much more realistic approach. You focus on controlling the parts you can control, like your own data and regulations, while you carefully manage how much you depend on other countries for the rest. Okay, so you have this relentless global demand for power and resources, and it's starting to slam up against the physical limits of our planet. And that incredible pressure is forcing us to look for some truly radical solutions.
And when I say radical, I mean looking towards the final frontier. Because what if the biggest thing holding AI back isn't silicon or software? What if the ultimate bottleneck is planet Earth itself?
Now, I know this sounds like pure science fiction, but that is a direct quote from the CEO of a company called StarCloud. And they're just one of a new breed of startups that are seriously trying to make this happen, all because of the basic physics problems we're facing down here on Earth.
And the plan is, well, It's as ambitious as it is brilliant. By launching data centers into orbit, you solve Earth's two biggest problems in one go. For power, you've got unlimited 24/7 sunlight. And for cooling, you've got the freezing cold vacuum of space. It's a perfect natural radiator that doesn't need a single drop of water.
And so that's it, the AI domino effect. It started with a number on a stock chart, rippled through our markets, started reshaping global politics, strained our planet's resources, and now it's literally pushing humanity to rethink our place not just on Earth, but out there in the cosmos.